sketching the derivative of a function when given the original function.
The original function is in blue. The derivative f prime of x is going to be in red. You should look at where your graph peaks and valleys. At the x equals 0 mark, you will mark a horizontal tangent line. The slope at this horizontal tangent line is 0. So you mark the point 0, 0. And same for the valley. The graph of the derivative will become more negative until you get to the bottom. Then the y values are increasing until the 0. Now notice that the tangent lines become more increasingly large, so the derivative function will too. If the tangent line is negative, that means you are going to have a negative slope. So let's say m equals -5. That means we're going to go down to -5 and place the derivative point. Notice how the tangent lines become more positive on the left side of the graph. So we're going to make the y values positive on the left. It's supposed to look like a parabola, but it didn't get that way.
Okay. You would mark your graph 1, 2, 3, and then -1, -2, -3 for both vertical and horizontal. You would mark your graph -3 to 1, and then -2 to 0, and then -1 to 1, and then 0, 0, and then 1, 1, and then 2, 0, and then 3, 1. Then you would just connect your graph. And this is your original function. Note that your derivative graph would be D&E because of 3 things. Because your graph is continuous, has a tangent line that's vertical, and has points / cusp that you have. So the graph of the slopes of the tangent lines would be the value of -1, because when you graph the tangent lines, the value would be -1 and +1. And then your slope would be m equals 1, and then m equals -1. The value of the derivative would change. So when graphing, the slopes of the tangent lines becomes +1, and then the slopes of the tangent lines would become -1. So graphing it, you would put an open circle because it would not be there. It would be D&E, and then you would go all the way to -2 because it's negative, and then you're gonna, when it increases, it would be -2 to here, and it would go back down to decreasing. Yeah. Back down. Open circle. So when looking at the graph, it jumps from -1 to +1 because the tangent lines becomes +1, and then the slopes would become -1. And the graph that we just sketched is the derivative graph.